お前はもう死んでいる。何？
To say that you can find joy in something where others do not can be a daunting and brave path to take. Whether it is enjoying pineapple on pizza or thinking that Rogue One is a good movie, it all requires strength that cannot be easily quelled. In fact, it is within the great holes of the mind where— Oh, fuck! If there's one series of games that I can say I love to death, it's Dark Souls. I remember Dark Souls 1 was a free game of the month on the 360, and ever since then, I've been a huge fan. And since then, I've played through every game multiple times, unlocked every achievement, and have probably died more times than there are people on the planet. But there is an imposter among those Dark Souls games, one black sheep that stands out in the fanbase as being the weakest and the worst in the whole series. And you know what? I like Dark Souls 2. Yeah, I said it. And I don't only like it, it's my favorite one. That's right, Dark Souls 2 is a good game, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. See, I feel like people look at Dark Souls the same way that people look at Smash. Dark Souls 1 is like Melee. It was the first game in the series for a lot of people, and to this day it still holds its own as a great game that set the standard for the ones to come. Dark Souls 2 is Brawl. People were excited to play it, but in the end it fell short for many, even though it has its own dedicated fans. Dark Souls 3 is Ultimate. It takes aspects and elements from each of the past games and expands and improves upon their formulas. And Smash 4? Well, we don't talk about Smash 4. But just like with Brawl, people pick out the flaws and take note of where it falls short. And after asking friends and looking at reviews online, the main issues that people have with Dark Souls 2 are as follows: level design, bosses, NPCs, and difficulty. Wait, difficulty? Oh boy, that'll be a good one. So I'm going to tackle these issues one by one and give my input on them to see if I can give you a perspective from someone who loves this game. Oh, and I'm going to be talking about the Scholar of the First Sin Edition, just to keep things as up to date as possible. So sit back with some Estus, keep those bonfires lit. This is Dark Souls 2. Oh my god! The level design in Dark Souls 1 is, to keep it blunt, phenomenal. It feels like it's an actual realized world that you explore, and it's all connected. I mean, you can go into Undead Burg and come out from the New Londo ruins, and people took note of how amazing the world was here and were eager to see how it would turn out in the sequel. However, what met them was disappointment. Drang Lake, the world in Dark Souls 2, has a bunch of different routes to take, but all of them are more linear. The world just doesn't connect the same way as it does in Dark Souls 1, and people were let down, and they made sure that they had their voices heard. However, one counter that I have to this point doesn't have anything to do with Dark Souls 2, but with Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is similar in its linearity to Dark Souls 2, but it's actually more linear. There are not multiple paths to take for the majority of the game, and the map resembles a straight line with a few deviations in between. But it seems like these same people were absent when Dark Souls 3 came out. Even today, when I ask about the flaws of Dark Souls 3, the level design is hardly mentioned. But moving on to individual zones, it seems that people have some issues with a lot here. I've heard that people hate the Shaded Woods, Shrine of Amana, and of course, Black Gulch. Ugh. And yeah, those areas suck, but what game doesn't have bad areas? Framerate Town, Sense Fortress, Tomb of the Giants, and the Depths are all great examples of bad zones. No game's perfect, but damn does Dark Souls 2 get dumped on for so many of the same things that are wrong with the other games. And just like the other games, Dark Souls 2 has some incredible zones. Drang Lake Castle is amazing with its daunting and menacing tone. Dragon Area is visually amazing with some tough enemies and good items to find. And the Iron Keep is my favorite zone in the game. The Alone Nights and its fiery setting are awesome, and it's where you get the voice carvings. The only thing about the Iron Keep though, is that the boss of the zone is a little lackluster. And that brings me to the next segment, bosses. Alright, so the bosses in this game get a lot of flack, and I can see why. First off, there's so many, which sounds like a good thing because the Souls games are known for their epic bosses. The thing is that no one looks at the Prowling Magus and Congregation boss fights as epic, and I agree. There are a lot of bosses that fall short. The Royal Rat Vanguard, Covetous Demon, and the Belfry Gargoyles come to mind. But people, Dark Souls 1 has some sneakers too. It reuses the Asylum Demon 3 times, and I've never heard anyone say that they love fighting the goddamn Moonlight Butterfly. I think the problem is that Dark Souls 2 has a lot of fat. So in a sense, it's a bigger steak than Dark Souls 1, but not everyone likes fat. Dark Souls 2 maybe could have trimmed the fat a little bit. But you know what people forget? This game has some dope-ass bosses. Not every boss is good, but there are good ones. The Lost Sinner has a foreboding presence as he flips around in the dark. Dark Lurker is a tough and challenging boss fight that is very easy to miss. And King Vindrick is a sad echo of his former self, but he still hits like a truck. And also, the last encounter is an epic 3-boss gauntlet that'll test your determination and will. Finally, there's Sir Alone, the best boss in the game. The fight with him has an incredible score, and the emptiness of the arena makes it feel like a true duel. These bosses can be very tough, so thankfully, even if you don't play online, you can summon a few NPCs to help out. But are these characters Solaire level, or Petrus of Thorlin level? Let's find out. I'll keep things short. Are the NPCs in this game bad?
No!
Are the NPCs in this game good?
Yes.
Let me explain. So after skimming through about 20 different articles online, I can safely say that many people have issues with the NPCs here. The accusation of the NPCs having a lackluster quest line has been thrown out a lot. And then I'm just sitting here like, huh? I mean, did we play the same game? The NPCs here are excellent. Even the most mundane NPCs like Malin are good. He starts out as a humble armor seller, but as he gets wealthier and wealthier, he's like, who the fuck are you, peasant?
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
But the more involved NPCs are where this game truly shines. Seeing Pate and Creighton making remarks and accusations about each other builds tension until you finally see them fighting and you're forced to pick a side. The ambiguity of it all and not knowing who was right adds to the overall enjoyment from this questline. By the way, Creighton for the win. Then there's Lucatiel, who, to me, is this game's Solaire. She's a little standoffish at first, but as you keep meeting with her, she starts to open up about herself and how she's trying to find a cure for the undead curse, much like Solaire trying to find a son of his own. It gets really sad seeing her at her wit's end, and in her last encounter, it's evident that the curse is taking hold of her, as she barely recognizes you and even her own name. It's fantastic storytelling, and I sympathize with Lucatiel's story more than I did Solaire's. Not to say that Solaire's isn't good, I was just more engaged with Lucatiel's. There are other NPCs of note as well, but these are the highlights for me. So to those people who say the NPCs are trash, I disagree, but I hear you. And to those same people who disagree with me,
show respect and listen carefully.
Now that we've gotten that segment out of the way, it's time to tackle the last main argument that people have against Dark Souls 2, and that is the difficulty. This argument confuses me. Dark Souls is synonymous with its difficulty. I mean, isn't that why people love Dark Souls? Because it's so hard? The thing is, people look at Dark Souls differently. If you play Dark Souls, you're a patron at the Salty Spittoon, and if you don't, you might just be a regular over at Super Weenie Hut Generals. Well, I found out that the difficulty in Dark Souls 2 is, a bad difficulty? People say that Dark Souls 2 has an unfair difficulty where big groups of enemies are thrown at you all at once. As if this didn't happen in Dark Souls 1? Right here, just before the Gargoyle boss, there's a swarm of undead that rush you all at once. The argument can be made that Dark Souls 2 has these gank areas more frequently than the other games, but at the end of the day, I keep coming back to the same thought in my head. The same phrase that the Souls community has been throwing around since its inception. And that phrase is, get good. If everyone thinks that Dark Souls 2 has an unfair difficulty, then wouldn't that make it the hardest in the series? As a die-hard Dark Souls 2 fan, and just a fan of the series in general, I definitely do not think that it's the hardest one. That goes to 1 or 3, but definitely not 2. Part of the reason that people may have found the difficulty too hard and unfair at the time could be because they had to relearn the mechanical changes between the first and the second games. This goes back to my comparison with Smash. Melee is so fucking sick with its tight-ass controls and its combo potential, and it really reminds me of Dark Souls 1 execution-wise. Parrying enemies and rolling around feels really tight and precise, and it rewards players for their well-timed execution. Brawl, on the other hand, feels a little more slow and methodical in its execution. A hardened Melee player would have to stray away from what they know to have better success for when they play Brawl. This transition from Melee to Brawl is the same as the one from Dark Souls 1 to 2. The parrying is a little slower, and you need to time it differently. In addition, the rolling at first seems to be wonky until you level up the right stats. Another change that might have helped with the hate were the different movesets for the weapons. However, just like with all change, it's not necessarily bad. The argument that Dark Souls 2 is bad is a perplexing one. Above all else, I think that all of the changes that people don't like can be summarized under one claim. Dark Souls 2 is different, not bad. Change can be a very scary thing, and I believe that many people were unsure about the change from Dark Souls 1 to 2. I mean, how can you follow up one of the greatest games ever without disappointing people? I don't know, but what I can say is instead of trying to find the negatives in change, maybe people should try to see the positives. Just like with Brawl, Dark Souls 2 has things that are definitely worth the praise. It has a more versatile matchmaking system with a name engraved ring, which is no password system like in 3, but it's better than 1. Some quality of life changes like using multiple items at once and more items to heal with also excels where Dark Souls 1 does not. Many of these changes were brought into Dark Souls 3, which shows that they were definitely positive ones. And listen, I'm not here to tell you that you have to like Dark Souls 2. I just want to shed some light and try to combat the arguments that people have bashing the game. I don't even think that it's the best Dark Souls game. That would be 3. But you know what? Dark Souls 2 is my favorite in the series. I think that finding joy where a lot of people didn't helped me see the true value that this game has to offer. And let me tell you, what it does have to offer is truly special. So that's my defense for Dark Souls 2 and why it's my favorite Souls game. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you listening to what I have to say, even if you didn't agree. And I do want to hear what you have to say. Voice your opinions in the comments below and let's talk about one of the best franchises that gaming has to offer. Let's just remember to be respectful to others. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and remember to always drink that Sunny D. Thanks again for watching. Take care.